Hello, everybody. We're back with another Wednesday 10-minute eye test, or at least we like to keep it under 10 minutes. We've been good lately. I'd like to introduce, if you don't know him already, my good friend and colleague and co-founder of Arcanum Ventures, Mr. Sasha, a.k.a. the Crypto Data Whiz on Twitter, if you want to follow him there. Good content. And we thought it was going to be a little bit of a slow week this week, but surprise, surprise, we found kind of an interesting hidden gem of a project to cover. Super interesting and a powerful use case for NFTs from what we've seen so far. So, do you have any thoughts on that, Sasha? Would you like to reveal?
Yeah, for sure. So we're talking about book.io. We covered this in the upcoming token launches video that we released earlier this week. And we thought about what could we do that is like going back to kind of like the roots of not only decentralization, but like blockchain tech. And so that's kind of what we like about this, at least what it sounds like. And so if you check out on CryptoRank here, book.io is a multi-chain Web3 marketplace for buying, reading, and selling decentralized ebooks and audiobooks. And that's awesome, right? I think, Carmelo, you and I talk a lot about loyalty promotions programs that are facilitated by cryptocurrency and decentralized token supplies. And I think we mentioned that the last one, Cash Tree. And this is a great use case because people can buy books. A lot of books are, they're digital now. People read them on e-readers and applications and mobile phones. And it's a perfect use case for monetizing transaction of these books between users and tracking it all on chain. So I like the sound of this, and I think we're going to dive in and see what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, I love the concept too. One question, which I'm hoping will be answered, is do they have their own app, or how compatible is this with e-readers? Because, it's kind of hard to disrupt Amazon, Kindle. And as much as I would love to not use Amazon as much as I can possibly do that, it's hard to disrupt that because it's so easy. I mean, most people I know, they read on e-readers now. A lot of people illegally download stuff. So maybe this will help mitigate that and help creators and authors get more for their work and not have to go through a middleman, which,
that's a great point. It is difficult to disrupt in this space. There are a lot of behemoths there like Amazon, but at the same time, there are a lot of great e-reader apps that I've used over the past few years, and I don't believe it's too difficult to develop a good e-reader app. So, if they do have a native app, if it's intuitive and, if it works pretty well, then, this might be something that just like all the stars align on, where they can integrate whatever they're doing on chain for verifying, uploading books into the app, allowing people to use those books, read them, and then transact or sell them to somebody else. So I guess we'll find out. What's happening here is that they are launching a token though, because it did come up on like token launches for CryptoRank. So what I'm wondering also is, if they're launching a fungible token, like what is that really used for? And I really hope it's not a payment barrier, because that just seems like a bad idea for a legitimate company.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm thinking, maybe you can call it a prediction, is maybe like some sort of incentive mechanism to encourage authors to release their works either here as in addition to other platforms or solely here. Like, if this is the one place where you can find the digital copy of the book, then, maybe they want to incentivize that and build their database, because we see a lot of good ideas in Web3 and crypto, but the go-to-market strategy is lacking. So you can have an incredible platform that works well, but there's no attention there. And there's, if you have a store with empty shelves, it's not so enticing to shop there. So that's one thing that we always worry about with like new NFT marketplaces. And from what I imagine, this is essentially a book-centric NFT marketplace. So could run into that problem, but it looks like they must have some books initially. I think they launched this already, not the token, but the actual network.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out. But just to touch on your point, that is a fantastic use case. And we've seen like, token... Yeah. Tokens being used for like creator economies before. It's funny because, they're targeting, if they were to use that, They would be targeting a very specific creator economy, an author economy, right? And incentivizing authors to come and post their content in the form of books, audiobooks, ebooks onto their platform and, get a little something. So that's just added incentive, right? I don't know, besides like potentially reaching a larger audience on, let's say, like Amazon Kindle ecosystem or another one, I don't think these authors are being like paid or incentivized to offer their their writings there. So that would be a really good use case, especially for adoption early on. Without further ado, you ready? We'll start the clock and dive right in and see what we can find out.
Yeah, but before you hit that start timer, everybody, I would like to encourage you to slap the ever-loving hell out of that like button. Help us out. Help us beat that evil algorithm. And even subscribe if you enjoy our content. And we have a lot of plans to make some more exciting content in the coming weeks, more educational content as well. So always helpful. And without further ado, let's hit that timer and start.
Bam. Okay, so we've got the website here. And Carmelo, I'll let you take a crack at it first.
Well, that is a hell of a hero text, the future of books, but they're not wrong. Like, this does have the potential to be quite disruptive in the digital publishing or publishing space in general. So Web3 marketplace for buying, reading, and selling ebooks and audiobooks, which is interesting too, because I was going to say before, one thing that kind of detracts me from this is that I know that people, especially in Web3, don't love reading so much. So to cater to this new generation of people that don't love reading, they like short form content. Even Twitter threads are more popular than articles now. So that kind of turns me off to it a little bit. But audiobooks are also gaining in popularity. I know so many people that say they work out, they jog, they listen to audiobooks. So that's pretty encouraging. I think not in love with these typical graphics that we see on websites, but I don't know. I like the call to action view bookstore.
I like that though. And let's check it out real quick. This is going to be a nice demonstration of traction and seeing like what have they done so far. And so here we go. We've got live mints. Okay, interesting.
Minting. So minting on Cardano, minting on Ethereum, minting on Polygon. So they distinguish different chains. I'm not sure why though. I feel like you should be able to offer these on all the chains, but
that might be a strange marketing strategy. I mean, like why? I think it'd be very difficult to identify like who would be interested in a particular book by the blockchain network they primarily operate on. That's like a big hurdle, I think.
Yeah. It's like, I got to buy Cardano now to read the Simpsons book.
Chains. And so they've got some books already. You can purchase these books. They have a set price here. I'm wondering if these prices fluctuate because there is a lot of volatility in the market at times. And so, for example, Matic, I think like a couple of years ago was several dollars. Right now, I haven't checked recently. I'll see what it is. But yeah,
it's a fraction of $1 now. So that's not much. But, I imagine as an NFT marketplace, they're going to be making money both for the creator and for the marketplace with royalties. So that's one good use case because you don't necessarily need to charge full value. You're taking control of that secondary market when people buy and sell. So not a bad idea. I like the idea of these limited releases too, because it's a nice way to launch a book to a new audience and then you have this psychological effect where, they've run out. I need to mint this first, or else who knows when I'm going to get access to this book because they might release it 6 months from now to the wider audiences.
That's like a very good discussion, I think, to have around the business viability of this project, right? And so if you think about how some of these, these e-reader or ebook platforms operate, just taking Amazon and the Kindle economy as like a perfect example, you can buy or rent ebooks to load onto your e-reader. As far as I understand, for the longest time since the beginning, you cannot resell these ebooks to anyone else. And so what they're doing here is that they're basically balancing out that decision of like, do we make more revenue by limiting that option, or do we choose to create more transactability, more foster more community vibe, and allow people to do that at the same time, create an additional revenue stream in the form of secondary transaction fees. So, it's an interesting one. I'm interested to see how that pans out.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have the ever-present call to action at the top. Get book here. So that's their token, book. I'm wondering what the token actually does in the context of here. We've seen tokens for native tokens for marketplaces before, but not so sure what they do in this ecosystem, especially when they're charging. It looks like they're not charging in their own token. They're charging in the particular blockchain that they're launching on. So it's not a payment barrier, I guess.
It's an interesting one. It looks like a very unique launch strategy. So they're calling it an initial token offering. Don't hear that too often. It looks like the token's a Cardano-based utility reward token.
No,
that will
even though
power
that's
the
basically what everybody's doing.
Of digital publishing, and that's awesome. I think that's going back to like what we talked about before, and maybe like somewhat of like a pseudo copper launch, or just like a straight priced offering with price increases every so often, I guess. But that's interesting. I think we should dive into the token and see what it's about.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a Dutch auction strategy, which is cool. I like when people change it up or companies change it up. Don't just follow the crowd and go to an IDO launchpad. Innovate and try different launch methods. Maybe it works better.
You know what? We've got the white paper right here. Let's check it out. Okay, interesting. Oh, you know what? Strange enough, the white paper's on Medium, but they've got a downloaded copy. Okay, here we go. 46-page white paper. Looks very professional and looks quite technical. Interesting. Something I'm seeing right here. Check this out. Web3 technology, comprising blockchain, decentralized storage, smart contracts, NFTs, and AI. What are they going to do with AI? Just throwing that in there?
I was going to say before, actually, this is a powerful use case for NFTs because there's not a lot of data you need for text. So it's relatively easy to actually store books and metadata on chain. Whereas if you were to do that with movies or songs, it's a little bit more complicated. It takes way more computational power. And that's when you want to use layer 2s or specialized blockchains that can handle that.
That's a good point. And you know what? It's funny because NFTs, I think when I covered it in the token launches upcoming this week, one major point that I noticed in doing the research here, diving in just like on the service level, is that they are granting true asset ownership or true ownership of digital books that are purchased by users via NFTs. And one thing they had mentioned, I'm sure we could find this white paper as well, is that they're not using these NFTs as markers or identifiers for these assets loaded onto a database somewhere. I think IPFS is usually what a lot of PFP and NFT startups use, where they don't actually upload the asset onto the blockchain. Here, they're actually uploading the ebook and potentially the audiobook onto the blockchain, decentralized storage. So that NFT is the actual book itself. And, books are a perfect use case for this because, books are not that large file size wise. And so, it might slow the blockchain down. It might be expensive. I assume that's why they're not operating on Ethereum, I saw over that list. But that's pretty awesome. You own that NFT, meaning you own that book. It's loaded on decentralized storage platform.
I think they are launching on Ethereum. It's like Cardano, Ethereum, Polygon, and Algorand. Those are the four ones they're targeting so far. That might be expensive to mint books on Ethereum then, but very interesting. It is, but Ethereum's safer for decentralized asset ownership, in my opinion. So I'd rather own it on that than a chain that I don't trust as much. But you're right; it's not going to be for your casual people that just want to download. And what I'm seeing here is, they've done some research in understanding what the competitive environment looks like. Putting ebooks on chain, however, creates a publicly viewable file.
on the decentralized file storage system. So maybe they have some innovative tech that can decrypt the file and allow registered users on the platform to access it only. And so that creates this secondary economy of selling books. But you know what? We should really check out, here we go, decentralized encrypted assets. That's what they're calling it. That's very cool. What we need to do before the time's up,
that could be
we
what
need
the
to figure out the
is
token
for.
utility. So let's figure out where the token is.
Yeah. I think we only got 1 or 2 more minutes for that. It's a rush against time.
This is a long white paper. Okay, so having a native token for the ecosystem has a multitude of benefits. It can be viewed as stored or potential reading energy. Primary uses include creators. They'll be used to create DEAs. The system will be dependent on creators, authors, publishers acquiring and spending books. So in order for authors to actually put their assets, their writings into the ecosystem, they need to buy and spend book to mint DEAs. So that is a payment barrier. That's unfortunate.
Oh, no. Do you see the first one for readers? Book tokens will power the read-to-earn system. No.
Read-to-earn, and they trademarked it. What?
This feels like in elementary school when for summer reading they want to assign you a reading list and they're like, we'll pay you coupons and gift cards. Man, please read this summer, please.
That's a really good point. Like read. This is a very stupid idea, but when it comes to like business viability, it's always funny to like look at what analogs exist in the real world outside of crypto or Web 2. And so like in elementary school summer reading programs, what would you get instead of like money for reading books? Maybe some stickers. You know what? Like, how about NFT stickers, guys?
Knowledge,
wisdom. Yeah, like a wisdom sticker.
Yeah, like that's what kills me. Like, play to earn. What was the issue? Well, the point of playing a game is to entertain yourself and enjoy and connect with friends. The point of reading is to entertain yourself, pick up knowledge and wisdom. So by saying read to earn, that middle word is the key differentiator. It puts the entire emphasis on earning something for spending your time reading a book, which that's an enjoyable activity in its own right. But maybe this points to what I was talking to in the beginning of the video, that people they can't be bothered to read these days. So we literally have to incentivize people to open a book or open an application and read on their phone or whatever, a tablet. It's kind of sad, but I guess that's the way we're going. Like, I don't think you should pay people to play a game or watch a movie or listen to music. Like, the whole point, like, it doesn't feel good if you're a content creator, and you're like, please, I will help pay you if you read my work. Like,
it's a very interesting concept. And again, going back to like the real world examples. So, if we're talking about read to earn, how do you verify that? Are they going to give book reports, like homework assignments to people? Like, come on, this is getting out of hand, guys. Also, just the fact that they trademarked read to earn, I don't know how to feel about that, but can we go back to like the Arcanum Intelligence thing? Can we trademark narc to earn? Because I really like that one. I think we should hold that.
Narcum.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start trademarking everything just in case something catches. And we're like, we got that.
I guess we should go ahead and dive into verdicts then, yeah?
Yes. And before we do that, I'm going to be annoying and remind everybody, if you like this content, please like and maybe possibly subscribe to our channel. We appreciate the growth, and I think we just hit 200 subscribers, which might be peanuts to some creators, but it's a big deal to us. So we're really happy with our community, and we love you all and appreciate the comments and the engagement. So thank you for that. And Sasha, so what do you think? What's your verdict on this short?
So it's interesting. Like we didn't really take a look at any of the metrics around the token supply. Like I think this is one big misconception a lot of people in this industry still have. It's so sad. They consider tokenomics or token economy to be like the pie chart and the vesting schedule. These are like token supply metrics, right? Tokenomics is more of like how the token is integrated in the product and how it's used by different stakeholders and users within that ecosystem. And so, like, I think we did do a lot of that. By looking at the token utility, we have an understanding of what it's used for. But the token supply metrics, I think, would give us an idea of whether they're actually using the book token as a fundraising vehicle. And I think if I had to guess, I'd say I don't think they are, which is the reason for the ITO. And, that kind of makes sense. They want people to come in. They want people to buy the token. They don't want to offer it on exchanges. They don't want to offer it on launch pads because it's an ecosystem asset. And that makes sense. It's like a payment barrier. You buy the token, and in order to mint a book or in order to, purchase a book or read a book, you have to have this asset and maybe spend it. And then you get rewarded the asset for completing book reports, maybe. And so, that's pretty cool. I don't think I would invest in it then because it's like a facilitator of economic activity. And it seems like it is highly inflationary if they're just going to use it to reward people for reading, especially read to earn trademark. So I wouldn't invest in it. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not a fan of these utilities either. I honestly think they could do a whole lot better with token use case. Like this entire thing could operate perfectly fine without the book token. The NFTs, no, but the book token, it just seems like a hindrance and an inconvenience for everyone. And so I'm kind of disappointed. I wish maybe, they reached out to us to design like a really cool token economy for this. I would have loved that. But yeah, that's my take on it. What about you?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I from an ethos perspective, this definitely aligns with what we tend to look for when we do invest, like decentralization, true asset ownership. I love reading personally. I know you do too. And I'm excited to see this. But, the realist in me knows that, like I mentioned before, readership is down. I've seen studies that say that the opposite, that actually it's an illusion that readership is down. It's actually going up. And part of that's audiobooks. But I know Web3 people especially, we put out some great articles and, people don't read. They want everything contained. I even saw an app the other day that somebody's launching where they take podcasts and they distill a 30-minute podcast down to like a 2-minute video or report. So people our attention spans are getting shorter, and not to mention that a lot of people I know, they illegally download movies, they illegally download books to read. And, a book's a hell of a lot easier to download illegally. It's just text, like you said. So it takes less data, it's uploads and downloads faster. So I love the idea, the concept behind it. And I think it will attract some non-Web3 people that love reading, and they're like, oh, this is a great use case. And when people are critical of crypto or Web3, you can point to stuff like this and say, actually, there's some cool stuff, some great teams building really interesting concepts using this technology in the way it was intended to, or we hope it was intended to. But yeah, I think you made a good point that it's not really an investable asset from what we've seen. They kind of lost my attention with the read to earn, like that one phrase just kind of, we could be wrong. We would definitely need more time to explore that. Maybe we're totally off on our assumptions. But on the face value, the fact that they trademarked it, it's a little bit worrying. I think they could do without the token as well. And also interesting that they don't offer stablecoin because it is pretty volatile. Like if you're paying in Cardano, like ADA, that fluctuates. If you're paying in Ethereum, that fluctuates. So I know that that's typical of NFT marketplaces, but I think most marketplaces offer USDC, USDT payments. So I think they could have just gotten away with native chain, maybe even just using stablecoins, because those are one thing that are consistent across all blockchains. They all have the same pegged value. They're transferable to other chains' pegged value. So I'm interested to see what the token's actually for. That's what I would like to dive in more if I had more time. I would like to check out what the token actually does, because I think we only barely scratch the surface of what the token does. But yeah, from what I've seen so far, wouldn't invest in this unless I'm in an early round, maybe pre-seed or seed, getting equity, because it could be a really interesting platform to invest in. But as far as investing the token itself, it's not really carrying the value of the company. It's just the utility of the greater ecosystem. So we're starting to see that more. Not so great to invest in. Probably could make some money as a retail investor, investing early in these early rounds in this ITO that they're calling it. But I don't think it's like a long-term investment that I would look to
yeah, I think it's a good take. And yeah, let's be fair. Like, that's a 40-something page white paper. We only took a very quick glance at it, and I think we only spent like 3 minutes total on the white paper. So there's probably a lot more there. I guarantee there's stuff that we're missing. This might be a more well-rounded token economy. But just thinking like big picture about this company, and using the token as a rewards mechanism for readers, I think primarily misses the point. You think about like, what are the big assets of this company? It's number one, the concept of bringing transactability of these assets between readers in a market that does not offer that. And so already that's a massive value add incentive for people to come into this ecosystem, and they can knock that out of the park just by creating a good e-reader app. And then number two, the other major asset in my mind is the decentralized encrypted assets, the innovative NFT tech that they're developing. And who knows, if this is something that they've actually developed that doesn't exist, we would have to read deeper in the white paper. That can be amazing IP to introduce to this industry and move things forward, because it's very valuable and useful in a lot of different cases. And so I think that's really cool. But just throwing the token in as a rewards mechanism, I believe misses the point. I would much rather see that token being used to facilitate early adoption on the content side, because if they can bring in enough ebooks and audiobooks from authors, and they have a good e-reader platform, and the idea of this transactability between these assets that people can purchase and hold on chain, that I think is enough to bring users on board. So it's just kind of strange to see that use case. But yeah, I would definitely look deeper. Just right now, I think for me is a no.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'd be curious to see how this could work with stablecoins. Like I said, just keep it simple. You could use stablecoins as a reward mechanism. Pay people for royalties. Pay authors for secondary downloads or purchases. But we may be wrong. We'll leave room for that. But I think that's our verdict, everybody. And thank you for joining us for another eye test. We appreciate all the likes and all the views and all the comments, and especially the ideas. We've been getting more ideas from you guys lately, which is really helpful. I know there's not so much launching right now, but as the markets start to heat up over the next several months, it's going to be a bit more fun to pick projects. So we're excited and looking forward to more innovative launches coming up. So please leave your comments, thoughts. Let us know what we missed, or let us know what's happening in the next few weeks we can take a look at. And as always, thanks for joining us at Arcanum Ventures. Thank you, Sasha. See you guys next week.
Ciao.
Ciao.